Hey, party people. As some of you know that I love RAG database architecture. I love learning about it, reading about it. And I also have built a tool called Nucleo, found at nucleo.chat. Anyway, I want to take you under the hood at the RAG database architecture and let's get it. So starting with the data ingestion pipeline. All right, so Nucleo is designed to help myself and other researchers by finding scientific data that has been hand selected by me and then uploaded into Nucleo via an embedding model, right? So basically, it's selected research, then updated through the PDF upload. The text isn't extracted, then it's vectorized, 2048 dimensions, and then placed in on the back end in a MongoDB database. Now, we're kind of keep moving on here. So this is a little background on, okay, so this is the cluster of the library. It's called research papers, or that's the vector database. And as you can see, the schema, the document schema here, and then the vector representation, which is TF-IDF, which is, I believe, term frequency, indirect frequency vectorizer. That's what the acronym stands for. L2 normalization, unigrams, biograms, and the hash-based fallback. Like that's how the vector embeddings work. Now we'll move into like the main meat and potatoes is the RAG part of it, the retrieval augmented generation, which is, first you start with user query then moves to vector search, which is, vectorizing or cosine similarity, looking at the similarity of vectors. Then it'll do a re-ranking. And so that's where you get the multi-stage scoring. So it does re-ranking, then it goes to multi-stage scoring, which is vector similarity, as I mentioned, which is cosine similarity or semantic first through semantic search. Keyword matching, so matching there, going to give a percentage. The document type, the relevance score, meaning that's kind of how relevant it is semantically. What field it is, right? And that's part of how it is embedded, is it tells you what field. And then the abstract match. So if it's seen it before, something along that line. What it does in Nucleo is you'll see on the left-hand side of the toolbar, there is a left-hand side of the sidebar, there is a toolbar that will then, after each query, it'll tell you how much of the percentage was grabbed from the RAG database. And that's where you're going to build the trust, is because you say, okay, this is how much of the information that was grabbed from the RAG database. And then the other percentages can be what the base model already had per its performance and training, or it can what the information was grabbed from the web if you use like a web API out to for a Google search. So anyway, that's the we're trying to keep the truth in LLM, so then you can build that trust. It's always human in the loop. So that's why building these objective tools, which means like the RAG percentage from retrieval from the database, is super important. So anyways, this was a blog post that I did on my Patreon. I'm not saying join my Patreon, but what I did want to do is not rewrite it for the school community. And so check it out and peace.